Worrying never makes tomorrow easier. It only makes today drearier. The Abyss? No, not that one. This is a Netflix original from Sweden. It was written and directed by Richard Holm. Hey, Holm, look, we've got an earthquake over here in Sweden. Anyway, this is also written by Robert Sherlock Holmes. Okay, those parents were just goddamn cruel. Oh, look, it's Sherlock Holmes. Not even Holmes. We can say, hey, Holmes, I found a body. Anyway, so this is also written by Nicholas and Claire and features Tuva Navathi, who was in Annihilation, which I always called Analition because I'm just that goddamn immature. She plays Frigga, who is working security at a mine that is starting to collapse. And basically, there is this town, this city, this little hamlet, whatever the fuck they call them over there in Sweden. Maybe there's a bit of a syndrome, a Stockholm syndrome as it were. Nevertheless, let's just talk about the fact that this particular city is on the verge of collapse. Because they didn't learn the first time, and there's been a series of quakes, and now we have a mixture of disaster and family drama, which actually could double as disaster. And look, I don't pretend to necessarily know about how the family dynamic is over in Sweden, and maybe this played better over in Sweden and European countries. And while there are a few elements that are all right, I think the acting's fairly decent, given the minimalist amount of story. This also is one of the most generic disaster movies that you will see because pretty much everything is followed beat for beat. Same as it ever was, once in a lifetime. Pretty goddamn ridiculous. As the days go by, well, not really, just as the hours go by. Karuna, I believe is the name of it. The Great Karuna. It's like the Great Kahlua. Felt like drinking some Kahlua while watching this because it would have gotten me through the not very interesting characters. Again, the acting is all right, and I don't mind them having a central focus on a family dynamic if that family is interesting. Yet they aren't. This just follows some stock characters with generic stuff happening. A very generic story arc, especially with a very generic ending. And character motivations that also run the gamut of, okay, we're just going to, make a dumb decision to advance this little plot. Or, oh, we're just going to discuss things at the most inopportune goddamn time. And the biggest indictment of this movie, the biggest indicator that it's just not very good is it's boring. It's very, very boring. That being said, check it out if you want to. It somehow plays better than the original, The Abyss. Oh, that's going to get me some goddamn hate. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, basically, a mine accident in 1961. Frigga's dad died at some point during all of this blasting and this mining. And, yeah, tragedy struck. A lone earthquake. And they moved this city 3 kilometers away. I have an idea. How about you stop mining in so many damn places and maybe, I don't know, focus on giving the citizens something instead of wasting money and resources building a city that's going to collapse because you won't stop fucking mining shit. So, it's a peaceful, sinking feeling because I know that the Swedish won't let me down, even though there are cracks forming in the ground. And the story arc of this in particular is Frigga, her ex, soon-to-be full ex-husband Taj Mahal, I'll just call him that. They are kind of divided on their son, Simon. Now you're playing Simon, who wanted to have a good birthday, but then ran off to play video games. No, really, that ends up being his downfall, or at least what gets him trapped. You also have a guy named Beer, and then you have the daughter, Mika, played by Felicia Maxime. And there are a lot of names in this cast, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the names of, since I'm kind of certain I probably screwed up the lead actress's name. And you will recognize, too, if you have seen Annihilation. And if you remember Annihilation, you're better than me because I really tried to push that out of my head, despite fairly decent acting. So, there's stuff about her dad that, gave her a rock. Because she wants to rock. Here you go. And she is trying to balance this, old family, new family. She loves her kids. Colleagues get trapped in this mine. Shit happens. There isn't a whole lot to this, even when the disaster eventually hits. Oh, yes, and also Mika is with a girl named Alea, I think. She's some redhead. I was trying to remember what I've seen her in. But nevertheless, that's okay, that's fine. I mean, they don't really explore enough of this stuff, but they give us just enough to know that one of these characters is going to die. And I'll give you a hint who it is. It's the redhead. It's the redhead because she's not part of this family. Then Frigga, Taj Mahal, and Patrick and Erica, yeah, I think those are the names, they go into the mine and use a drone to look around, but then they eventually get trapped, because why make smart decisions in disaster movies? We need to figure out what's going on. We know it's collapsing, but we need to figure out why. Oh shit, we're trapped. God, who could have seen this coming? And then meanwhile, Dabir and Mika are talking. Mika's surprised that he was going to propose, but hey, it is what it is. Oh yes, and she also had a bit of a fight with Aaliyah just before things get really, really shitty. So they're searching for Simon. It's like Love Simon. If they didn't love Simon, they just simply tolerate him. Tolerate Simon. That doesn't quite play as well in the marquee. So, yeah, there is a claustrophobia, enhancing scene where they're trying to crawl through a tunnel. Taj Mahal basically gets upset because he is claustrophobic. I can identify with that. I also wouldn't put myself in that situation, but I digress. And Erica ends up getting killed and crushed because Taj Mahal took about 18 years to go through that whole thing. Now, it's time to evacuate to a city called New Karuna. So, here's a question. If you had to move it before, wouldn't that be New Karuna? I got a question also. Why in the world are we just moving the city gradually over instead of maybe 50 kilometers away? Maybe we can stop doing this bullshit. I mean, yes, there is the idea we're playing around with the environment and it's leading to the collapse of cities. But I would have thought that people in Sweden were a little bit smarter than this. But evidently the characters in this are not very smart. So during the part where the street's collapsing, Mika gets freed by Dabir. And yeah, this CGI was a choice. He frees Mika. Leia's pushing this baby stroller to try and get to safety, but then she gets trapped in the dust cloud and seemingly killed. Off camera, though, so maybe she's going to come back as a dust monster. Which I would rather watch as opposed to the rest of this. So, Taj Mahal and Dabir and others are in this church. And then they fight over this ring that Dabir was going to give. Because Taj Mahal's like, you can't do that. That's my family. But thank you for saving my daughter, but I'm going to fight you over this ring right after that. Do you see what I mean about the character arcs? So the idea is now because of playing Call of Duty, see, video games can lead to brain rot and also being trapped in the goddamn corner of a school cafeteria in a floor because you're stupid. They basically managed to rescue Simon while this one girl, Tina, is impaled, and then a piece of concrete moves and then she's dead because plot convenience. Frigga tries to get down into this whole deal, but ends up impaling herself on a piece of rebar McIntyre. And then, can you tell I'm not taking this seriously? I mean, I can't take this seriously. I'm sorry. It's just not interesting. They're using cloth and, pieces of equipment to basically hold and try and, have some weight and get Frigga down. Well, the idea is Tolerate Simon comes over, Mika jumps down, and they manage to tie off the wound, pull her off of the rebar McIntyre, and then Taj Mahal is holding this up, but then exposed wire basically shocks him to death. Not before he says, look after my kids, Dabir, because I'm going to become the Shock the System man. And then that's it. That's it. Everybody's rescued. How did the rescuers get there so quickly? How were the rescuers not able to go down under? Har, har. Build the city elsewhere next time. Generic. F. I'm sorry. It's not good. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.